Hello. Today we are going to discuss changing paradigm of social policy in India. Expert for the day are Dr. V. Kanappa Sethi and myself, Dr. Binod Kumar, uh, from School of Social Work. So the discussion on a very important topic, uh, why social policy is important and how what is the process of development of social policy, starting from Western country, specifically Great Britain, and re- uh, consequently in India, pre-independence and post-independence, how it has developed, how it has taken shape, and what are the today's discussion on social policy in India. We are going to cover these important points. So first, let me tell you that what are the basic, you can say, common man definition of social policy. So social policy aims to achieve a goal of a minimum standard of life for a human being. And essentially, when we are talking about minimum standard of life for every citizens of the country, we are also talking about just and human conditions of life for each and every individual in the country. And if we have just and human society, consequently it can turn up and empower individual, and they can contribute subsequently in the nation building process through different sets of activity, livelihood, or through their skill setup, they can contribute into the nation's development. So with this, there are key functions which I have underlined, and I would request Dr. Kanappa to highlight the functions of social policy.
Thank you, Dr. Vinodji. As my colleague rightly said, social policy is a comprehensive a measurement taken by a state or government to ensure a standard of certain living arrangements, quality of life for many other things for its citizens. But when we are talking about the functions, we need to understand there are very important three functions are there. That is, first one is increases overall well-being. When you bring a certain social policy into the state or country, the overall the function of the particular policy is to increase overall well-being of the individual. For example, well-being is very much linked with the mental health, the wellness. When there are certain social welfare measurements, social legislatures, social policies, when it is reaching the person in the society, and that automatically that will also increase the well-being within the family, that will also reach the well-being in the community, then it will also reach the well-being of the society at the larger scale. So you should understand what is a well-being. Well-being is when the person able to meet his physical needs, his psychological needs. In the sense, his physical needs are the food, shelter, and other job opportunities, other facilities, and he will also feel happy that he is part of this society, is a part of this community, is part of this country, or is part of the state, and the entire family will be very happy that they are doing wonderful life. The quality of life will be improved. So overall, the well-being of the individual, from family to from community, community to society, it will be improved when there is a right policy in the society, when there is a right policy in the community. All those things are done by the state or particular the government. That is one first function. The second function is reduced deprivation. When we have a certain social policies in the state or in the country, you can probably read or you can understand a number of social policies within the country or outside the country. So the overall function of this particular social policy is uh, many people will get into various welfare activities. So when they have various welfare activities, the deprivation will come down. So when there is a particular ration to the family given by the government, that family will not have a many I mean they will have they very happily they live because that deprivation will come down. like that a number of deprivations will come down. So that is another function of social policy. The third one is reduces societal conflict. Today, I was reading some newspapers. So there is a big conflict in Sudan. So many Indians are in the conflict. Many Indians are fighting. They're finding difficult to escape that conflict. The conflict is between the police system and army in this Sudan. So this kind of conflicts are very common in many Western countries, whereas in our country it is very less. So why I given this example, you can understand when there are no n number of good policies in the society, definitely there will be some social conflicts. So there will be fight for food, there will be fight for shelter, there will be fight for good water, there will be fight for good hair, there will be fight for good job opportunity, education, and even health. That is very important. So there are a lot of issues rises when there is no good policy. So when there is a social policy in the system, it could be state or by central, so such kind of conflicts will come down. Otherwise there will be big violence, there will be many people break the rules and regulations, and they will not have a proper life. So all these conflicts are very common. They go opposite the particular states, the government, the central government, even the so called the security forces. That's what is happening across the world. So we should understand all these three functions of social policy are very important, and we can say these are all main functions of social policy. By doing that, there will be less conflict in the community, less conflict in the society. So now I request my colleague Dr. Vinodji to continue.
So let us talk about what is the backdrop on which social policy has emerged. When we talk about emergence of social policy, if you see the historical development of 19th and early 20th century, you will find that there was changes in the Western society. Uh, why I am telling you, giving you a start from the Western countries, because the social policy initially started from Great Britain. Largely it shaped and talked about the welfare of the laborers. So if you see 19th century and early 20th century, the major development was in the form of invention of steam engine. After steam engine, you will find that in Great Britain there was huge force of industrialization, and due to industrialization, large number of laborers were in demand in the urban areas. So we all have learnt about the Manchester, Cardiff, and other areas where large number of industries were getting set up, and you will find that from the countryside or village side of Great Britain, people are coming to the urban areas, and they are staying in urban areas and working in the factories. So if you see, if you compare today's India, you will find that we also are facing this huge migration from urban, usual migration from rural to urban area. So what kind of challenges were there at that particular time? If you imagine, these challenges were in the form of living condition for the workers, basic, you can say, accessibility of basic health and sanitation facility, which are we are facing in the urban slums. So with all these, there was huge demand from the political side as well as from the citizens that there should be some basic standard of living for all citizens of the country. So at that particular time, as I told you, that due to industrialization, even a state was able to fund these programs, because a state was also taxing. Earlier it was not possible because a state was having less, you can say, monetary control over funding all the schemes and programs which I was talking related to labor welfare in the Great Britain. So when industrialization happened, due to taxation and all, even governments started earning money, and there was a demand, and due to you can say due to elections and voters demand, it was turned into a different sorts of social policy. So birth of social policy is largely in the backdrop of industrialization in Great Britain, and largely it talked about you can say working classes, those who are staying in the urban areas, living in urban slums, and there is a great you will find there is a stress among the people who are coming from a certain cultural background to urban areas, because urban social class is completely different. When they are entering into these classes for the livelihood opportunity, they were facing lot of problems, and when they were facing lot of problems, the response came in the form of uh, social policy, and social policy largely tried to solve their immediate problem, like working on sanitation, ensuring minimum wages, and ensuring that they work for a certain time period. Not, it should not extend where they are not able to work for a long period of time. So in this backdrop, you will find that social policy developed in Great Britain, and later on it was replicated, because at that particular time we were part of the Great Britain colonies of the Great Britain. So you will find that later on it came in India. So different sorts of risk were bear borne by the population, those who were coming from countryside or village side to the urban areas. So in that backdrop, you will find that the policy, social policy, came as a succor to help them to reduce the risk which all migrants workers were bringing to the urban life. And in, when you see the kind of program and kind of policy or social protection, or in a different terminology, social security, all these programs and policies came in that backdrop. So different sets of model developed by the passage of time, because when we talk about social policy, so state capacity is limited, different states are working in a different way. So you will find that there are different models by the passage of time. The first models which developed in Great Britain is called as residual model. We all know that the basic responsibility of birth, bringing, upbringing, as well as education, health facility, is directly taken care by our parents, and especially if you talk in context of India, it is a family. So family system was, even the Great Britain family system was supporting, and at that particular time, as I discussed previously, that due to market forces, factories were coming in big way in the urban areas. So different sorts of services were also offered at that particular time, like health, education, all these were you can say you can buy all these facilities in the market. So whatever was left out of family domain of family and market, state was giving you can say help or assistance to the worker only for those domains which are left by the family and market. As I told you that you, if you have a capacity, you can buy something. So whenever people have capacity to buy healthcare facility from the market, government will not give. And when they have capacity to buy for the social security, like social insurance, government will not give. So there was minimum government intervention initially. Why there was minimum government intervention? Minimum government intervention because of the less politics over social policy at that particular time. And you know, at that particular time there was also, from the state capacity perspective, there is a limited capacity, limited money in the coffers of the government. So government was not able to you can say fund large programs. So whenever we are talking about social policy, as I told you that the state has a limited capacity, so there are two approaches. One approach talks about targeted, and the second one is universal approach. And even in India right now we find that there are different sorts of scheme which are targeted and which are some are universal in nature. So I'll let me dwell upon these two types of social policies which are part of residual model. So due to limited state capacity, government cannot fund everyone. Those who are able to buy their the social concerns, social you can say social requirement, government will not give them. Only those population who are not able to deal tackle these requirement, government will work for them. So in that particular scenario, it becomes a targeted. That means some people are targeted. Like if you in India, if you see, there are in ration card different categories are there. So like BPL, if you are BPL, you are eligible for certain schemes and programs by the government. Likewise, even in social policy, when we talk about different sorts of doles and different sorts of subsidies by the government, at that time also, so some programs and policies and you can say schemes were targeted, and some are for everyone. So some programs like if you see going into the government school, like in India, it is open for everyone. It is not telling that those who are from coming from upper strata of society, they can't access government education system or maybe the government school. So like these are universal in nature. Anyone can access that, and there is no restriction and there is no eligibility criteria fixed by the government. But mind it, there are some other services where there is a restriction. So that is targeted, and those who are available for everyone, that is the universal. And in that backdrop, one very important development happened in 1942, and that one report came into a picture, and that was you can say later on became a path breaking for social work education across the globe, not only in Great Britain, across the globe. That report is called as Beveridge Commission report. So Beveridge Commission report was nothing but it charted the pathway that how a state will respond to the social problems in the Great Britain. And Beveridge uh, recommended recommendation is very large, but I have identified some focus areas. Beveridge identified 5 giants. That means 5 giants of roads of reconstruction. So when Beveridge talked about different sets of requirement of the people or the citizen in the Great Britain, he talked about 5 giant requirements. The first requirement he talked about is that want. When we talk about want, it is different from need and want. These are two different things. So when people are having some sorts of requirement which are basic in nature, so Beveridge Commission report is focusing on that at least some basic requirement has to be given by the state to the people to have you can say to have a life which is dignified and just and human life. So this was given thrust that basic services in terms of accessibility of healthcare, maybe in terms of accessibility of education, all these were part and parcel of and one. The second giant area which was identified is disease. At that particular time, if you see, there was large uh, population which were due to pandemic and different sorts of diseases because of medical advancements at that particular time was not there. So there was large number of people were dying because of disease. So he at that particular time his thrust was providing help to the people, providing access to medical facilities to the people so that they can have some basic access to basic medical facilities so that they can save their life. So through disease was the second point which he has focused. The third was the ignorance. Ignorance comes in the form of education and awareness, that how you bring people out of ignorance, because of their lack of knowledge, information, lack of skill, people are not able to take decision in a right manner. How we empower them, how we equip them to take a better decision, and education has a role to play in that way, because if education is giving way to handle the personal life as well as their daily life struggle, they will be able to deal with this particular problem in a better way. So ignorance is largely about accessibility of information and education, knowledge building. It talks about that. The next one comes in the form of squalor. You know that when I was talking that people migrated from rural areas to urban areas. So urban area becomes infrastructure deficit becomes very high because of large population load in the urban areas. People are not having access to basic facility. Even government, despite government good intention, you will find that there is a long queue in the hospitals in urban areas. And if there is a long queue, and if a daily wage worker is staying in the queue and wasting his whole day for the accessibility of health facility, then it will not be able to give justice to him, because he has to earn bread and butter despite accessing all these facilities like health and education. So it talks about that. The fourth one, Squalor talks about how these facilities, that means sanitation, basic health facility, basic living conditions in the urban slums, how it has to ensure from the state perspective, how it has to be human in nature, how it has to be accessible to all, and how it can play a crucial role in empowerment of the people. Because if they are healthy, if they are having good sanitation, they will be healthy, and in turn they will be able to join the productive workforce in the country, and ultimately they will be working for the nation building process. So the fourth one, which talks about fifth one talks about the idleness, and it is largely about the livelihood, or you can say work. How a state has some you can say duty to provide certain livelihood opportunity for the population who is at the bottom of pyramid. Because when we are talking about giving opportunity to uh, access basic facilities which are connected to social policy, we are essentially not trying to see that they will only take services of the provided by the government. We are also looking at from the perspective that how this population which is at the bottom of pyramid, and they have lesser access to education and health facility, how they can become productive in the long run, and how they can join the workforce. So idleness is talking about the work. So how livelihood opportunity has to ensure, how work has to be given to the people, so that they should not only be accessing the services, they should also add value to the economy. And this is the way through which social policy can function in a sustainable manner, because only accessibility of services will not work in a long term. So the second model which I wanted to discuss is that industrial achievement and performance model, and this is the second model of social policy, which obviously it has roots in the Great Britain itself. As the name suggests, industrial achievement performance model. So it tries to see reward people. When I was talking that there has to be universal approach and targeted approach in social policy, and those who are not able to access, they should be given opportunity to access education and health facility, and it will help them in a longer run to become a productive workforce. But when we come to the second model of social policy, what it talks is that only those who will be financed, or you can say given opportunity to access these facilities, those who are doing good performance in their work, or it will be based on the merit. That means when people are working in a certain conditions, maybe in the government, maybe in the private setups, what is their performance. So it talks about industrial achievement performance. That means what are their achievement on the basis of their merit, on the basis of their performance, on the basis of their productivity. Accessibility to basic facility will be decided, accessibility to social policies and programs will be decided. This is the second model. So when we talk about social welfare in context of industrial achievement performance model, it forms in important core component of industrial achievement. That means you will find that later on what happened is that in the industrial setting, social welfare officers were getting appointed, and still you will find that it is still a policy that even in India you will find social protection officer, social welfare officer. All these names are very common in the industrial setting also, where they are supposed, all these are social worker, and they are supposed to facilitate welfare of the employee, welfare of the worker in that particular setting. So what I was telling, that those who are working in industrial setting, maybe in profit, non-profit, or maybe in the government setting, through this model they were promoted. This model envisions that those who are having merit, those who are having productivity, those who are working for the country, they will be given priority when we talk about accessibility of social policies and program. So when we talk about industrial achievement, so when we have an industrial achievement, there is a good growth, and in turn, when there is a good growth, it will have consequences or impact on the policies and programs of the government, because good growth will turn into the good tax collection, and it will in turn come to the point where government will be able to finance many programs and policies which are connected to social policies. And in this way you will see that large population large population under this particular model were excluded. And if you see, there is a when we talk from the perspective of social work, even in Great Britain they brought poor law, and there are certain population like destitute single mothers, like children, who will take care of them, because all of them cannot be productive workforce at the time, or maybe terminally ill, those who are not able to take care of themselves. A state has responsibility, and social policy comes into picture when we talk about all these population which I was naming just before. So when we talk or when we analyze this policy, it policy has certain lacuna, and it is excluding a certain population, a large population it is excluding, who are at the requirement of you can say help by the state. The third model which is you can say in fashion now, and which is in very popular, adopted by people across the globe, government across the globe, is the institutional redistributive model. So what is this model is talking about is that um, how a state will accumulate wealth, and a state will tax the industrial setup, and through taxation a state will have some money, and this particular policy, this particular model is giving a way out to redistribute money which is accumulated by certain you can say industrial houses. So essentially it is providing social, it is a policy, social policy. So different social indicators like health, educations are getting fulfilled through this particular model. But additionally what it is doing is that it is also redistributing wealth in terms of providing good services, health services, education services. Why it is redistributing and how it is redistributing? See, when government is collecting money from industrial houses or big corporate houses, it is coming in form of tax, and it is getting percolated down at the village level, at the you can say at the urban areas, and it is going to impact a large chunk of population who are not able to access basic health facility or maybe education. So this money is being used for certain, providing certain facility which are core to the social policy. So what it is doing, it is distributing whatever they have gained, whatever government has gained from industrial houses, it is a redistribution of wealth. So that's why you will find that through this model is prevalent, and this is going on, and you will find that this is being followed by many countries across the globe. And with this we will take a break, and then we will meet again. Thank you.
Are you interested in television journalism or radio journalism or online journalism? Or do you want to learn with the flexibility of open learning? Or if you are a working professional, wants to enhance your knowledge and skill with certification in the field of electronic media, then School of Journalism and New Media Study IGNOU offers PG Diploma in Electronic Media for you. This program includes audio and audio-visual program production for radio, television and online platforms. Here are some important details about the program. We have total 8 courses of 32 credits, 6 theory courses, 1 practical and 1 project. Eligibility: bachelor's degree in any subject. Minimum duration 1 year, maximum 3 years. Medium is English, but students can write their examinations, assignments, practical and project in Hindi also. So if you are interested in television,
So welcome back. As I was discussing the third uh, model of social policy, which is redistributive in nature, and all these policies are the last policy which I was discussing, the redistributive one, is being followed by the country across the globe. And this is the model through which they are financing different social policies and social protection schemes. Let me come to the context in which we are sitting and talk about India, that how social policies are ingrained in our legal system and how it has a base in the constitution itself. So when we talk about constitutional schemes and the social policy, you will find that part 4 of Indian constitution, which is directive principle of state policy, is directly connected to the social policy and programs in India. And it gives basis to the different sorts of policy, not only for the central government as well as for the state government. And when we see the footprint of these constitutional provision, these are increasing tremendously. And I am going to talk on the later fag end of my presentation, that how these policies are getting traction even during elections, and people are, due to education, people are more aware and more you can say empowered, and they are deciding their political decisions in terms of votes and all. They are giving priority to that. So let us go one by one. So when we talk about enforceability, when we see that as I told you that part 4 of Indian constitution talk about directive principle of state policy. So directive principle of state policy has lot of you can say provisions which a state is providing and a state will be providing in future to come. There are certain incapacity, as I told you that a state has certain limitations in terms of financing programs. They cannot finance all the program at once. They have different political focus. So you will find that in the post independence India, government at the center and government at the state has taken pain in touching different parts of social policy, which has been enshrined in part 4 of Indian constitution. And let me tell you that two essential component, which is first one is fundamental right, part 3, and the later on this directive principle of state policy, part 4. These two core forms the core of the you can say Indian constitution, and these two has huge ramification when we talk about impact on the citizens of the country. Though fundamental rights is enforceable in the court of law, directive principle of state policy is not in you can say enforceable in the court of law. And directive, when we talk about directive principle, you will find that there are certain points when judiciary higher judiciary has taken lead and decided in favor when there is a conflict between fundamental right and individual freedom and the communitarian aspect, that means providing social welfare schemes. They have given precedence to directive principle of state policy. This is the huge importance the constitution has given to the social policy, especially for the weaker section in the country. So let me go one by one. The article 37 talks about the general thing, that these directive principle of state policies are guideline for the forthcoming government. That means the government will come in future, they will take up different sets of social policy as per their own priorities. As I told you, these are not enforceable in law. That's why government has freedom that they can take up and they can drop certain policies in favor of citizens or as per their own ideology or politics. You will see that there are various leading cases which are coming into the picture when we talk about the directive principle of state policy. There are incidences where a state is forced to play a role where they have to provide a basic sanitation, basic health facility for the citizens. In a very popular case, Ratlam municipality case, what happened is that the local citizens uh, demanded for construction of or you can say slab on the sewage, and there due to open sewage it was uh, threatened to the health of local population, and due to this threat they turned to the local municipality, Ratlam municipality, and they requested that it should be removed, the problem should be corrected, it is duty of municipal government, and municipal government gave the reason that we don't have sufficient money so we can't do that. Later on citizens went to the high court, later ultimately they reached this case reached to Supreme Court, and you will be amazed that this decision was given in favor of the citizen, that this is coming from the directive principle of state policy, and these are some basic requirements as I was talking in the previous slides, that living standard has to be human, just and dignified. So here it came into the picture, that debate came into the picture, and that was given precedence, that living standard has to be dignified, and taking cue from that, it was the decision came in favor of the people of that particular area where there was a open sewerage. So what essentially we cannot go one by one in very detail, but essentially what I wanted to highlight is that how by the passage of time directive principle of state policy is getting prominence, and how it is occupying a big space when we talk about the government expenditure. The next article 38 talk about state welfare, state shall strive to promote welfare of the people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may. That means a state has certain limitations. The framers of the constitution has kept a state capacity in mind, and they talk about as effectively as it may, and what types of protection they are talking about: justice, social, economic and political. So they are talking about providing justice, social, economic and political justice to the citizen of country through social policy. And again 38(2) talks about elimination of inequalities of income, endeavor to eliminate inequalities of status, facilities and opportunities, and not only amongst the individual, also amongst the different groups. So what it is trying to say, it is talking about how income inequality within the citizens has to be reduced, as I was talking in the third model, which was talking about a redistribution. So essentially through redistribution what we are doing, we are reducing inequality, we are taking from some in the form of tax we are taking, and we are financing poor. So essentially through social policy programs we are also envisioning to reduce inequality in the society. As Dr. Kanappa already discussed in the third functions of the social policy, I just want to highlight that highly inequitable society is highly unsustainable. It will not be a stay for a long time. War, social strife, conflict, civil wars, all these are part and parcel, and we have witnessed across the globe that how inequality has become a potential threat for the safety and security of the sovereign country.
I have three questions.
Yes.
So we will discuss one by one. The first one is, when we are discussing about social policy, there are a number of questions comes. So let our, the viewers, our students, let them understand what is the important, aspect of social policy. That is, health right. So, health right, you can take even, the general health or physical health, or even some, emergency health like a pandemic. So, all these three things together, how a normal citizen in the state or in the country, how they can use the right of health.
So, in context of protection of health rights of the common citizens in the country, you will find that people are again and again complaining, and there is inequity in accessibility of health facility in the country. But if you see the framework through which social policy and the you can say how a state is trying to reduce the inequity in terms of accessibility of health facility, also in terms of providing health services to the marginalized population, especially you can say uh, old age, children, and mentally ill people. A state has different sets of programs and policies, and if you see, day by day, gradually, we are moving towards a better and strengthening our old programs. And you will conquer, Dr. Kanappa, that we are moving in that direction where we are not only talking about physical health, we are integrating mental health. And if you see that within that framework, within physical and mental health framework, even if you see there is diversity of the health system in the hospitals. Earlier we were not having different sets of medicinal systems. Now government is trying to add different local, traditional, even allopathic, homeopathic, all are coming together, and these are given that means opportunity is given to the marginalized population. And you see there are positive steps also in terms of providing mental health accessibility at the district level. Earlier, the basic setup was not there, but there is a positive sign from the central government that we are moving in that particular direction.
You raised a very important aspect, Vinodji. As far as the health is concerned in India, so far the government of India or even state governments, largely the central government, they are focusing on physical health. For example, so even when they are claiming for health insurance, even the poor people or middle class people or rich people, there are a number of organizations, both private and non-private, non-government or even government. They do give insurance for physical health related aspects. But now it's been a it's pending demand from the families and the patients of mental illness, that they should also cover under various health insurance. So the government of India has made very recent like a kind of change that even the mental health issues, including substance abuses or depression or schizophrenia or any kind of mental health issues, should be covered by all insurances in the country. So even the private companies and whatever insurance they are having, for example Star Health insurance or different health insurances covering by different organizations, providing by different organizations, they should provide a treatment for mental health issues. So that is a positive change in the country as far as the social policy is concerned. Why I am saying the mental health, the mental health is a very neglected area in the country as far as the health is concerned, as it is not visible for many people or even family members. They think that the mental health is not there, so, or the mental health is not part of health. So many people are finding it difficult to go to hospital for both outpatient treatment or inpatient treatment. When they go to the treatment itself is a very huge burden for the family. And another main difference here, the physical health, for example fever, cold, cough, or any other physical disorders, even mild to moderate disorders, so need not to take treatment for months together or years together. So that is a major difference from mental health issues and physical health issues. So when one time they go to hospital, they get admitted for 10 days, 5 days, 1 month, like that, and the treatment is over. So then they need not to continue for months together, years together, unless there is severe issue like cancer or even HIV or even kind of different brain related issues. whereas the mental health issues is not like physical health issues. So you need to take treatment, months together, sometime years together, sometime lifelong. For example, bipolar affective disorder, schizophrenia, or even OCD, or some kind of dementia. So once you get this illness, when it is turned as a severe illness, you will have to take treatment for years together, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, sometime lifelong. So the treatment cost is very high here. So the burden of this treatment is very huge on the family and their caregivers side. That's why it is a long pending demand from the caregivers and the family of mental disorders that the treatment is also should be covered of all kind of health insurance available in the country. So luckily the government of India has made a policy that whatever health policies are there in the country, warranted health insurance, star health insurance, or any kind of health insurance. For example, the government of India has made universal policy that is called Ayushman Bharat. So even in the Ayushman Bharat, all kind of mental health issues should be covered. So it is a common policy for all kind of physical and mental disorders in the country, and because of this social policy, many of them are going to hospital and taking the treatment, and they are finding it easy to get access with all local and district level hospitals because of this policy. That is a major change what we can see in the country. So another important aspect I wanted to ask you, Vinodji. So right to work. So as far as social policy is concerned, right to education is there, and right to work is also there. There are a number of rights are there. So now I wanted to ask you how right to work so can play a major role in the society as far as the marginal group or marginal people are concerned.
Let me dwell upon this topic. As you talked about education and work, so first I will talk about education. See, the education of the children 8 to 14 years of age, it was part of directive principle of state policy earlier, which has now been shifted to the fundamental right. As you know that there is law, and it has been shifted to fundamental right that 8 to 14 years of children, all 6 to 14 years of children are eligible for free and compulsory education. So this part has been shifted to fundamental right. That means now it is a universal. Everyone can access that. On second part of your question related to the right to work. Right to work, you see, as I was telling about Beveridge Commission report, the last one was idle. So when we talked almost 70 years ago to provide opportunity to work or some decent opportunity and dignified opportunity of livelihood for every individual, in that particular direction our constitution has mentioned. This was part and parcel of discussion in the Constituent Assembly, and they were very firm. That means assembly was very unanimous when they took decision to put into the directive principle of state policy. Because of state incapacity at that particular time, state was not able to finance all these big programs like right to work. We have moved in that particular direction. When you see in 2005 we enacted the law, Mahatma Gandhi Employment Guarantee Act. In short, we call it Manrega. So Manrega came from here. The source of Manrega, the scheme which is well debated and implemented across the country, the source is here. It talks about 2-3 points. It talks about, it also talks about right to work, and also talks about how to reduce inequalities in the society. It is addressing 2-3 directive principle of state policy, not only one. On the one hand, it is creating assets at the village level. It is providing 100 days of employment guarantee for the marginalized population. Those who are ready to work, they are getting opportunity, and they are given payment for that, and through that they are having some sorts of cash flow in their home. And if there is a cash flow in their home, it reduces their inequality. They are capable of buying and addressing their immediate need, which state or local governments are not able to address. So essentially, when you approach these questions of right to work, we are moving in a very firm and right direction. And if you see, there are promises which are coming of you in the form of unemployment allowances also. So if you are not able to provide the work, some sorts of amount you have to give so that they can have some dignified life. We are moving in that direction. You will find footprints in the elections, uh, and you will find that many political parties are vouching for these particular social policies.
So, Vinodji, as we discussed about right to health and right to work, another very important aspect of social policy is right to law. As far as the right to legal support, law is concerned, many marginalized groups, including people with disabilities, both mental and physical disabilities, general disabilities, SC/STs, or minorities, or senior citizens, women, or even like tribals. There are a number of these kind of marginalized groups and transgenders as well. They're facing various atrocities, the problems, the violence, and deprivation of various the facilities. So for them, running a day with the good food, good sleep is a major challenge. In spite of all these difficulties, they do live in the community very harmoniously and peacefully, and they do exist with all kind of a respectful life they do expect. So here what government or the state has brought the free legal aid service. So free legal aid service means considering all these marginalized groups, the poor people are so-called, the deprived, classes. So the state has thought that getting justice is not so easy for this population. So they thought that as right to health, right to education, right to employment are the same kind of facility should be there, like right to legal support. So right to legal support. So for that they brought a free legal aid service. So free legal aid that is there in all the sectors. For example, since I have worked in the health field, so I could able to explain. There are n number of poor families coming to government hospitals and taking the treatment, and when they are not well, the same situation may be taken for the granted for is their opponents or their neighbors, their relatives, for their benefit. That time they may these kind of victims or these kind of patients or even disabled population or vulnerable population may find difficult to get justice. So one side there will be no resources, another side there will be no good health, another side there will no energy to fight in front of these elements. So the state what they have given here, they set up free legal cells across the district. It has started with across the taluk, across the district, and across the state as well. So now I had seen many cases as far as far as the mental health is concerned. When the person is not well, the family, the relatives, or to some extent their friends or neighbors may label them as unsound person. So mad person in the layman language. So they may take their property to their custody or for any other purpose. They label them that is not mentally sound, so that he cannot handle their things. So there are a number of reasons behind their conspiracy, all those things. So we have seen some genuine cases saying that even the person with epilepsy, the fits, when they fall down, people say, oh, he's a psychiatric patient, he cannot take a proper justice, proper kind of judgment, so that his property has to be given to brother. or is the rights has to be transferred to some other relatives. So sometime you will also find such kind of fake cases generated by their own family members with the help of some lawyers. And in that scenario, to safeguard their rights, their their assets or their properties, this particular right to legal support has come, so they can approach any legal cell and they can present their case, their details, and they will take it up. So without any monetary burden, the particular legal cell can take it up and they fight the case behalf of this person, the family, and they can get the justice. That is one thing. And second one, very often we have seen the dowry harassment or the property disputes or even the health related disputes are taken into the court by different organizations or family members for their own benefit. So because of this free legal service, the lawyers are fought for the family members of this particular victim, and they have given the justice. So this is one example I could be able to say that how this particular social policy is bringing new dimension, the positive aspects in the lives of these marginalized groups or the victims in the society.
So, at the last, let me tell you that all these golden principles regarding providing legal aid, related to health facility, related to education, related to right to work, all these requires money at the end of day. How a state will finance all these programs, and what are the limitations? So where we start? First we finance good health and education for the children, and then children will become a responsible citizen, and then they will become a productive population, and they can add value to the economy. But where point is that if a state has incapacity, these plans and programs cannot be financed. So with this note, I wanted to indicate that how people and government is also hard pressed in taking decisions related to opting certain social policy, and this decision wholly or depends on, you can say, the population through which they are coming into the power. With this, I would like to stop here.
Dear learners, welcome to IGNOU. You're going to lead with a difference. So how do you lead with the difference? The unique attributes of the university system through which you're going to go for the management program or any other program is the multiple entry and exit. It provides flexible learning where a learner can learn at its own will and at its own pace. It offers multimodal approaches, like we have MBA, the normal through the distance learning mode and through online mode. So it has a multimodal approach. It has face-to-face counseling. It offers web counseling also. It gives interactive satellite-aided communication network through teleconferencing, and it also gives the radio counseling also. When we talk about School of Management Studies, it was the first school and it had the pioneer program of diploma in management. Till date, it has been offering around 14 programs in management and 13 programs in commerce disciplines. The school has international presence as well, as it provides the programs in specific Asian and African countries across the globe. Now talking about Master of Business Administration. What are the objectives? What are the learning objectives of this Master of Business Administration? What are the unique features of this Master of Business Administration which IGNOU is offering? Let us see the program at a glance. The program name is MBA, and the eligibility criteria for this program is bachelor's degree, minimum of 3 years duration with at least 50% marks and 45% marks in case of the reserved category. The duration of the program is minimum 2 years and maximum 4 years, and the program fee per semester is 15,500. The total credits of the program, the total credits are 116, because there is one project course which is equivalent to 2 courses, so it comes out to be 29 courses. If a student wants to exit the program after completion of the specified courses available in the first and second semesters, that is 56 credits if the student completes, then there is an exit option available. The award of postgraduate diploma in management on the request of the student if the student wants to exit. Apart from this, there are 4 stand-alone PG diplomas also, which are a different part. They don't fall a part of the management program. They are the stand-alone diplomas, that is postgraduate diploma in human resource management, postgraduate diploma in financial management, postgraduate diploma in operations management, and postgraduate diploma in marketing management. So these are stand-alone diplomas. So the links available for the student handbook and prospectus of Master of Business Administration. So this is all about the MBA program. Happy learning.
Namaskar, and a very warm welcome to all the learners and viewers who are watching us live in today's teleconferencing session. I'm Dr. Gitika S. Johari, faculty at School of Vocational Education and Training and Program Coordinator for the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program. Learners, today's teleconferencing session is an introduction to the DMOP program, and it is basically for all the learners who have taken admission in January 2023 and also for prospective learners who want to take admission into the DMOP program. So let's begin today's session by discussing more about the program and getting more insight about what this program is all about. So we all know that secretarial practice, it is an interesting and a very highly job-oriented vocational course which turns a candidate as an executive and administrative assistant. This course mainly comprises of English shorthand, computer typing, MS Office and Internet, secretarial service, business correspondence, and core employability skills. This program will generate competent and skilled personnel at the entry level in any sector of employment. That is, candidates with secretarial skills can get jobs in government, public, or any kind of private offices. Learners, we know that the secretaries and office assistants, they have to play a very important and versatile role in any modern office environment. They are expected to have thorough knowledge of office management and procedures, along with excellent communication and organizational skills. The current business environment we can see is demanding multi-talented secretaries and office assistants. So this program will help in achieving command over English as well as general knowledge. Now, learners, when we were developing this program, we have combined the conventional practices of the secretaries and office assistants job along with computer-aided management techniques. So this course on secretarial practice, it deals with the entire process of acquiring knowledge, skills, procedures, methods of work that will be performed as a secretary or as an office assistant. Now, what are the learning outcomes? What will a student attain after doing this particular program? The student or the learner will develop competency in communication skills. They will develop proficiency in stenographic skills. They will develop competency in handling office machines. They will be able to operate the PC on window operating systems. And they will also understand how to manage office records, filing and indexing, office management methods, and practice and inventory control. Some general information related to this particular program. Obviously, eligibility is 10 plus 2, medium of instruction is English. Duration of the program is 1 year minimum and maximum 3 years. That means a student can complete this entire program in maximum 3 years time. The program is offered both in July and January admission cycles. The link for admission is mentioned here in the slide. The fee structure, you can refer to the common prospectus, because the fee varies from time to time. University has the practice of either increasing the fees or keeping it at the same whatever is the amount of the fees. So for the fees, we have to check the IGNOU prospectus from time to time. Now, learners, let us look at the program structure. As we can see, the program has been divided into 5 courses which are going to be offered in a blended mode. Now, what is the first course? The first course is BSSI-011, which is communication skills. This is of 8 credit. Second course is BSSI-012, which is computer skills. This has both theory and practical component. The third course is BSSI-013, which is secretarial practice. This is of 4 credits. The fourth course is BSSI-014 and BSSI-014P, meaning stenographic skills course. It has both a theory and practical component. This is of 8 credits. And the last course which we are offering under this program is BSSI-015, which is on office procedures. So we are now going to discuss the courses, a little bit in more detail. The first course talks about communication skills, which is BSSI-011. Now, what are the main objectives of this particular course? If you can see the title of the course, it suggests that this will help you, the learners, to improve their communication skills in English in the areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Learners, when we were developing this course, our main aim was to, help you practice these language skills in real life situations so that you could speak and write with fluency and accuracy. Now, as far as honing your editing skills, we have given you practice in the remedial grammar. Now, along with this, each unit or lesson has a section on pronunciation skills, which will help you to improve your pronunciation of sound, word stress, and intonation. Now, if you repeat the words in English, this will considerably, enhance your vocabulary, and this has all been given in the vocabulary section. If you practice all these activities diligently, learners, we assure you that you will not only improve your language proficiency, but you will be feeling more confident at your workplace. Now, this entire course on communication skills has been divided into 8 blocks, and we have tried to cover the entire gamut of situations which one may be confronted when you are working in the workplace. So, block 1, consists of getting to know your organization. Block 2 consists of telecommunication. Block 3 is on writing in workplace. Block 4 talks about meeting and discussions. Block 5 is on e-correspondence. Block 6 is on writing reports and proposals. Block 7 is preparing for a job. And Block 8 is on self-development. So this is highly beneficial for all the learners who are looking for an upward mobility in their workplace. Remember, learners, that along with the knowledge of your specific job, it is your interpersonal and your communicative skills that will enable your professional life to go forward. Now, moving on to course 2, which is on computer skills, course code BSSI-012. Now, the main objective of this particular course is that the roles and responsibilities of office assistants and secretaries has changed significantly with the increasing use of computer application in office environment. So, why have we inducted this particular course into this program? So, this is basically to impart you fundamental knowledge of computers and skills to operate the popular applications which are used for managing the functions of office. The emphasis has been placed on learning Windows Vista operating system and what are the components of MS Office, application of internet and computer networking office environment. Now, these are the softwares which are used most commonly in the office environment, and this helps in executing the responsibilities of office assistants and the personal secretaries more effectively. This entire course on computer skills has been divided into 4 blocks. Block 1 talks about fundamentals of computer. Block 2 is MS Office Part 1, where we will be explaining to you about MS Word and MS Access. Then Block 3 is MS Office Part 2, where we will be giving you knowledge of Excel and PPT. And the last block under this course, Block 4, is on Internet and Office. Now, learners, moving on to course 3, which is secretarial practice. What are the main objectives of this particular course? Now, this course is basically to teach the learners the basic nuances of office management that would help them to handle the practical situations in a very smooth and effective manner. Now, whether you're working in a public office, whether you're in a government office, or whether you're in a private office or any other kind of office, they all require the assistance and skills of manpower that are capable of handling multiple responsibilities. So, this course has been developed in providing a comprehensive outlook for the learners, enabling them to withstand the requirements of the job market. This course on secretarial practice has been divided into 3 blocks. Block 1 consists of 3 units. Unit 1 is on secretary, where we are going to discuss the jobs, the duties, and the responsibilities of the secretary. Block 2 talks about communication. What are the different types of communication the secretary can, we have discussed the types of communication in this particular unit. Block 3 is on office correspondence. Moving on to block 2 talks about reception and public relations, because as part of as a role of a secretary, your duties also maybe at the reception area, or even working as a PRO. So that is why we have included this particular unit on reception and public relations. Then the next unit is on meetings, where the role of a secretary involves how to prepare before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting. What are the modalities one has to take into consideration when you are a part of the meeting. And then the last unit under block 2 is report writing. Then block 3 is talks about sources of information, travel arrangements, handling cash and bank transactions. Because we've been discussing time and again that the role of the secretary has increased manyfold. So apart from the typing skills, or apart from knowing what shorthand and all is all about, they have other duties as well, which they have to do as part of the office work. So even if they have to collect any kind of information, where can they collect the information? So sources of information is another unit where we have tried to explain that from where the information can be gathered. Then how travel arrangements have to be made, as far as they have to make arrangements for their bosses. And lastly, working with the bank, how you have to handle the cash as well as bank transactions. Now, moving on to course 4, which is on stenographic skills. Course code is BSSI 014. Now, what are the main objectives of this particular course? Now, learners, this course will help you to understand the importance and scope of shorthand. So, when we were developing this course, it was basically our aim was to enable you to write shorthand speedily and neatly at the workplace. In order to take dictation accurately and neatly, speed, legibility, constant practice, and good knowledge of language are essential prerequisites. So this entire language, shorthand, it is itself a language. So this entire language has been discussed in this particular course on stenographic skills, and this entire course has been divided into 4 blocks, block 1, 2, 3, and 4, where what are the things one has to learn in shorthand has been discussed. Now, learners, moving on to course 5, which is on office procedures. Now, what are the main objectives of this last course? This course majorly deals with the steps in which the activities are performed in the office in a sequential order. If the office environment is working in a very haphazard way, you will not be able to find out, the correct information at the correct time. So basically, when we're talking about office procedures, we need to see that we need to follow certain set procedures which will help in smooth and efficient functioning of office. So what are some of the important procedures one needs to take into consideration when we are working in the office environment? This will reduce the cost of operations if you are working efficiently and you know the things, where the things are kept in the right place. It will reduce your cost of operations. This will allow effective training of new staff and personnel, because when we're talking about any office procedure, we have to see that the people who are working in the office environment, they need to have complete knowledge of what is happening in the office, or even things which are happening outside the office. So from time to time, we do have to train those people with the latest developments which are taking place. Then the another thing is, it will help improve the performance of the old staff. As we have been mentioning that there is a lot of upgradation, lot of things are changing, technology is moving fast, so we have to keep our staff also updated, and they do require training of certain things. So if we do such kind of training, it will also improve the performance of the old staff. It will facilitate smooth flow of work in the office between superiors, subordinates, departments, and so on. Because if the if otherwise there is always a communication gap between the superiors and the subordinates. If the things are properly known to the person, to the staff, that where a particular file is kept, or where where which is the department they have to send this particular file, if all these very small things are understood, the staff people are aware of all these things, it makes the work more effective. So we can say that efficiency of any organization, it largely depends on the processes and the procedures, and the ability of its employees to follow them in order to achieve the object of business with speed, quality, following the procedures prescribed for the purpose. So all these things we have discussed and covered in two blocks, block 1 and block 2. Now, learners, you must be wanting to know, what is the teaching and learning activity? How does this all take place? So first and foremost is the self-learning material, which is available in the printed form and also in this form of soft copies. And the soft copies, they can be accessed through the eGyan Coach portal of IGNOU. This is a repository of all the study material, where all the study material of IGNOU programs and IGNOU all the material is uploaded there. And even IGNOU e-content, this is a mobile app of IGNOU. From there also you can access all your self-learning material. One thing more I want to tell learners, that you get a rebate, if 15% rebate, if you opt for soft copies. So students, if you opt for a soft copy, you will get 15% rebate, and those who have opted for hard copy, they will get the hard copy of the study material. Talking about the counseling, the theory counseling sessions will be held at your study centers, which are allotted to you by your respective regional centers, and they will be organized. Apart from that, although they are happening into the face-to-face mode, they can also be organized through technology-enabled learning support services, like through your IRC sessions, that is called Gyanvani, through your Gyan Dhara, through your Gyan Darshan, the teleconferencing, so on and so forth. Even some study centers, they can have your counseling sessions through, virtual platforms like through Google or through, Zoom also. So it's a blended thing that they are calling, the study centers might call you offline also as far as your counseling is concerned, and they may also take it through virtual platforms. Now for practical counseling sessions, learners, they will be, practical sessions at limited recognized learner support centers, because basically there are two courses, the computer skills course and the stenographic skills course, which require hands-on training as well. So talking about these two particular courses, practical counseling will be short-term practical sessions. As I said, they will be held at recognized learner support centers. So we can see that the delivery pedagogy is based on printed instructional material supported with counseling and multimedia support for imparting theoretical as well as conceptual knowledge. Now learners, let us discuss about the evaluation system. Now IGNOU follows a three-tier system of evaluation. First and foremost is the self-assessment exercise. These are exercises which are inbuilt in your self-learning material. If you go through a particular unit, maybe after a certain section or after the unit is over, you will find certain exercises which are called as check your progress. This is just to assess your knowledge, that how much you have learned so far. So they are already inbuilt in your self-learning material. The second is continuous evaluation which is done through assignments. The link of the assignment is available on the IGNOU website homepage, and the students, you are required to submit your assignments at your respective study centers. The study centers will evaluate your assignment. They will forward your marks to the regional centers, who will further forward your marks to the examination center of IGNOU. Then there is term and examination theory. So, here learners, there are 4 courses in which you will be assessed as far as your term and examination theory is concerned. The 4 courses are your communication skills course, your secretarial practice course, your stenographic skills course, and your office procedures course. And you will be able to take your examinations after you complete 1 year of your study. That means that if you have taken admission in January 2023, you will be eligible to appear for your examination in December 2023. Similarly, if there are prospective students who are wanting to take admission in this particular program, maybe in July 2023, they will be eligible to appear for this examination next year in June 2024. That means you have to complete 1 year of complete study where you become eligible to appear for your examinations. Then again, the portal for filling up the examination form, it's available on the IGNOU website. So you can visit the IGNOU website and you have to fill up the examination forms. Then learners, as I mentioned that there are 2 courses in this particular program which have a practical component. So there is going to be term and practical examination for courses BSSI 012, which is computer skills. There is no theory examination for computer skills. There is only practical examination and assignment. Then there is a practical examination for the course BSSI 014, which is on stenographic skills, and this will you will be assessed as far as the practical examinations is concerned on the basis of your reading, writing, and typing skills. You are all required to pay examination fees for practical exams as well. So you have to pay fees for both for the theory exams as well as also for the practical exams. Now, to claim the diploma learners, you have to pass with minimum 50% marks in each of the components separately. That means whether you are talking about assignments, whether you're talking about term and examination theory, or we are talking about term and examination practical exams. In each of these components, you have to score 50% marks separately. Now, the weightage of final results in the grade card. You will be wanting to know what is the weightage of your final results. So, here we have divided into 3 components. First is term and examination theory, then there is assignment, and then there is term and examination practical. So, talking about the communication skills course, 70% weightage will be for your term and examination theory, and 30% weightage will be for the assignments, making it to 100%. Talking about this course on computer skills, you have a weightage of assignment which is only 30%, and you have a weightage of practical examination. I have already mentioned that there is no theory exam as far as the course on computer skills is concerned. So for computer skills, there is a weightage of 70% as far as your practical is concerned, again making it to 100%. Talking about the course on secretarial practice, again assignments have a weightage of 30%, and term and examination theory has a weightage of 70%. Stenographic skills course, this has 3 components. You have term and examination theory, which has a weightage of 25%. You have assignment, which have a weightage of 25%, and you have term and practical examination, which has a weightage of 50%. And the last course, which is on office procedures, you have weightage of 70% as far as your term and examination theory is concerned, and 30% weightage as far as your assignment is concerned. Learners, I also want to tell you at this point of time that though the theory examinations they will happen in the month of June, but for practical examinations, a lot of students, they ask, ma'am, when the practical examinations are going to be conducted. So once the term and examination theory papers are over in the month of June, immediately in the month of July or August, as notified by the university, the practical examinations will be conducted, and your date sheet will be, uploaded on the IGNOU website homepage. So there you will come to know that on what are the dates when your practical examination for the computer skills paper is going to be there. And for stenography, of course, the regional directors, they have to finalize a date for the practical examination as far as stenographic skills is concerned. So, learners, coming to the end of this particular introduction of the DMOP program, what are the job prospects which are available for the learners? So, we can see that after completing this particular program, there are quite a number of job prospects. This program will train the workforce for the following positions. You can become a personal assistant or a private secretary. You can become stenographers in any government organization or any law firm or any other place. Then you can become office managers or office executives. You can also become an office executive assistant. You can also work in the front end executives. You can become data entry operators. You can become computer operators. So these are some of the wage employments. But last but not the least, you can also go in for self employment, because this program, it is a vocational program, and apart from giving you wage employment, you can also it has prospects for self employment, where you can open your own office, and you can do the documentation. You can do as a computer operator. If you're working with any law firm, you can work with all the different kind of the typing skills, whatever is required, the documentation, and or you can even open a photocopy machine, along with so many other things. You can we have where the lot many PhD students, they go in for getting their thesis, manuscript typed and all. So that kind of a work can also be open, where you can open a small shop, where you can even work doing the typing, because you have knowledge of computers, you have knowledge of shorthand, you have knowledge of English, all kind of knowledge you have. So this is a very good job prospects as far as people who are working for wage as well as self employment, they can go in for. So I hope, learners, you have enjoyed today's session, and in case you have any queries, you can please write to us. Our email addresses is gitika.johari@ignou.ac.in, and we have dmopsovt@ignou.ac.in, and of course there is one more email ID, rspsing@ignou.ac.in. Happy learning, learners. Thank you.
Indira Gandhi National Open University, accredited with A++ grade by NAC, provides you a quality education in open and distance learning. School of Performing and Visual Art is offering a wide range of programs in performing and visual art. Certificate program in painting, certificate program in applied art, certificate program in Bharatanatyam dance, certificate program in Hindustani music, Carnatic music and theatre arts.
बहुत यत्न करने के बाद भी नहीं पा सका, संजोग से मैं इस बार लेके आया हूँ.
All the certificate programs are of 6 months duration with 16 credits. We offer 1-year diploma in theatre arts with 10+2 eligibility criteria of 32 credits. The learners are exposed to various aspects of elements of drama, theatre games, acting techniques, scene work procedures, and they will also have the opportunity to take part in a classroom play production. We also offer bachelor's degree in Hindustani music. This program is duration of 3 years, and learners are having the flexibility to complete this program over a period of 6 years. Apart from bachelor's, we also offer masters in drawing and painting with a duration of 2 years. Apart from certificate programs, degree, masters, we also offer PhD programs in performing and visual art with a specialization of visual arts, music, dance and theatre. Art is the perfect manifestation of every human being. So what you are waiting for? For online admissions, please visit our website www.ignou.ac.in. For more details, you can also contact Director, School of Performing and Visual Art, Block number 15G, IGNOU, Maidan Gadi, New Delhi. You can also reach us at sopva@ignou.ac.in. Happy learning!
Hello, learners. Welcome to this live session on your program Certificate in Fashion Design, that is CFDE. Today's topic of discussion is careers in fashion. And for the discussion today, we have with us Program Coordinator Professor A.K. Gaba. I welcome you, sir. So, learners, as the topic is careers in fashion, and it is the part of your course 4, that is BFD 074 Communication and Entrepreneurship. This is one of the unit of block 3. So let me brief about this course BFD 074, that is Communication and Entrepreneurship. So as you are already aware that this program Certificate in Fashion Design, it comprises of 4 courses, that is course 1 Fundamentals of Fashion Design, course 2 is Basics of Pattern Making and Sewing, course 3 is Introduction to Fashion Industry, and course 4, that is Communication and Entrepreneurship. So today we are going to discuss one of the unit of this particular course, that is Communication and Entrepreneurship, and it is a 4-credit course. Let me brief the detail of this particular course, that in this course Communication and Entrepreneurship you have to study 3 blocks. That is block 1 is basic social skills in business communication, block 2 is about basics of fashion communication, and block 3 is about entrepreneurship. So this topic that which we are going to discuss today, careers in fashion, it is the last unit of your block 3 entrepreneurship, that is careers in fashion. So why today we are discussing this topic? Because it is very important, and every time we get a query, and also being a student of design, that before you opted this particular program Certificate in Fashion Design, or the learners or the listeners who are listening us today, if they are interested, they might have a question that what career they can have after joining this program or after learning the fashion design. So it is very important to discuss the career opportunities in the field of fashion design, that to make you clear what skills you have and how you can use that particular skills to get a good career opportunity. So learners, as you know, that fashion design, it is an art of applying the design, the aesthetic creativity, and the clothing construction on the clothes and the accessories related to fashion. So it all influenced by the culture, the time, and the place where we live. Same way we can say that fashion industry, it is a very labor intensive industry, and from starting from the raw material to the final product, in every step we need some kind of manpower. So learners, in every field of the fashion design or the fashion industry, you have a good career opportunity and options that you can make a good career there. So now let us discuss the topic careers in fashion, I request sir to please apprise our learners what different careers are there and let us discuss some important careers in the field of fashion design. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Divya. You have explained the brief about the program and courses objectives, and that as you explained, the topic is very very interesting for not only the students who register for this particular program or course, also for those who are planning to register for this particular program and courses. And for them, I think we have received a communication from our own program and courses. Most of the students also registered for this particular course and other programs in like our course 3 BFD 73 under BAG, our degree level programs. As per the new education policy, a student from anywhere, any university or any colleges or any college or place, they can consider our program and courses, and their credit will be transferred for their respective universities and respective programs. सो सभी साथियों और जो इस प्रोग्राम को देख रहे हैं और उसमें काफ़ी हमारे जो स्टूडेंट हैं वो हिंदी मीडियम में भी हैं, उनकी जानकारी के लिए कि आपने जो कोर्सेस लिया है BFDI 73, वो भी इस प्रोग्राम को देख रहे हैं, और उनके लिए भी एक सूचना है कि आप हिंदी की जो हमारी असाइनमेंट्स हैं और इंग्लिश में दोनों में हमने दिए हैं और असाइनमेंट डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. दूसरा ये है कि वो कह रहे हैं कि क्वेश्चंस उन्होंने रेज किए कि हमने हिंदी मीडियम में ये कोर्स लिया है BFDI 73. उनकी जानकारी ली कि मैं ये बता दूं, ये आप हिंदी में भी इसको अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हैं और आपके पास स्टडी मटेरियल भी सॉफ्ट कॉपी हम थोड़ी देर में भेजने वाले हैं. ये उन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जो डिग्री लेवल प्रोग्राम्स में रजिस्टर हुए हैं. अब आपने जो इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट रेज किया है कि जो यूनिट 14 है और ब्लॉक 3 जो हमारे कोर्स 4 का है, उसके बारे में आज जो चर्चा कर रहे हैं कि ये प्रोग्राम, ये कोर्सेज जो हम कर रहे हैं, ये इसके क्या बेनिफिट हैं. अब बेनिफिट के लिए काफ़ी डिस्कशंस होता है कि हमारे जो इंदिरा गांधी राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विश्वविद्यालय है और पर्टिकुलरली हमारे स्कूल ऑफ वोकेशनल एजुकेशन के जो प्रोग्राम और कोर्सेज हैं, वो सारे के सारे एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी पर्सपेक्टिव हैं. उसमें हमने सारे स्किल्स कंपोनेंट उसमें डाले हुए हैं. पर्टिकुलर इस कोर्स के बारे में जो फैशन डिज़ाइन का कोर्स है, इसमें हमने सारी जो फैशन डिज़ाइन से रिलेटेड स्किल्स हैं, वो स्किल्स कहाँ से आई, वो स्किल्स हमने जो इंडस्ट्री की डिमांड है कि हमें इस स्किल लेवल पे जो मैन पावर है उसकी नीडेड है. जैसे अभी आपने एग्जांपल दिया है कि इंडस्ट्री, जो फैशन इंडस्ट्री काफ़ी रैपिडली ग्रो हो रही है, और वो ग्रो करने से क्या है कि उनकी डिमांड जो है एक पर्टिकुलर जॉब रोल के लिए आ गई. वो क्या क्या जॉब रोल्स हैं उसके बारे में आज हम विस्तार से चर्चा करेंगे. जैसे कि पहली जो हम बता रहे हैं कि कैरियर्स फैशन डिजाइनिंग नॉट ओनली इज़ एशियन और इंडियन कंट्री बट इन अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, यूरोप as well as in USA also, there is huge demand. Whenever you are doing any courses or programs in this discipline, your need is not only local as but global as well. So this is because of changing technological advances like artificial intelligence, robotics and machine learning, and also traditions and fast increasing industry, that is e-commerce. So in this way you can plan of your this particular course and skill development competencies, particularly after COVID-19. The huge demand increase and industry is facing huge challenges. They need for huge gap between the demand and supply of skilled manpower in the respective nations. So keeping in mind, then industry come out कि we require skills manpower in the area of like sourcing managers. What are the sourcing managers? And then textile designers. So ये sourcing manager और textile designer and fabric technicians, इंडस्ट्री की जो रिपोर्टें हैं, जो हमने ये जो रिपोर्ट एनालाइज की, ये जो लोकल लेवल पे की, नेशनल लेवल पे, स्टेट लेवल पे, विद इन द कंट्री, देन इफ यू सी एशियन डेवलपमेंट रिपोर्ट्स, इंडस्ट्री रिपोर्ट्स, देन वर्ल्ड बैंक रिपोर्ट्स, वर्ल्ड फैशन इंडस्ट्री फॉरम्स रिपोर्ट्स, उनको कंपाइल करने के बाद जो स्किल गैप्स, जो जॉब ड्रॉप्स निकले कि वो चाह रहे हैं कि इंडस्ट्री नीड है, फैशन इंडस्ट्री पर्टिकुलरली नीड है दिस टाइप ऑफ स्किल मैन पावर एट द रिस्पेक्टिव फॉर्म्स इंडस्ट्री, एंड दैट इज पैटर्न मेकर. And one of the course what we are offering in this particular program, that is pattern making, and my colleague Dr. Divya Ujay is expert on that particular course, and that is also being offered through MOOC platform. So viewers who are watching this program, they can see our this pattern making, whatever we are giving skill components here. You can also stand alone register for our MOOC programs, and that swim platforms as well as our CFD program. So that is also a very interesting pattern making course, and that course is designed with the help of our all industry experts, and then we come out the fashion designer, that specific role job what we are discussing, and then fashion retail manager, self entrepreneurship, fashion journalist. All these skill component covered under all four courses. So that a career in fashion is particularly discussing the job roles. In addition to that, there are other also job roles. But if you see this program, जो particular program है हमारा certificate fashion design, although it is not aligned with the NSQF alignment, but you see 4.5 जो अभी UGC का national credit framework है, that all meeting requirement. We are in the process to align this particular course in the particular NSQF alignment. Now, there see the 4.5 what we are discussing job roles. Their role is to start the supervisor level. And what are the NSQF National Skill Qualification Framework is talking about कि आपका यदि 4.5 है तो उसमें सुपरवाइजर का रोल है, यदि 5 है तो आपने असिस्टेंट सुपरवाइजर से स्टार्ट किया, देन जनरल मैनेजर्स, एंड देन सो ऑन हायरार्की इज देयर. बट it all depends upon the experiences of your particular fashion sectors and your these job roles, and as well as skill and competencies what you have at the moment. So in this way we have this identified the job role.
So, sir, as you said that there are different careers, जैसे अभी आपने बताया like sourcing manager और textile designer to pattern maker. So, इन सारे जो job roles, job career opportunities हम इसको कहेंगे, तो basically like a sourcing manager, तो उसकी एक important क्या career path या उनकी क्या job role है, उसको हम learners को कैसे बताएंगे?
या हमने ये बड़ा अच्छा क्वेश्चन आपने पूछा, क्योंकि हम जॉब कैरियर्स तो बता रहे हैं इस एरिया में है, उनके जॉब रोल्स कहाँ क्या हैं, इंडस्ट्री जो है वो क्या टैलेंट और क्या स्किल्स एंड कॉम्पिटेंसी ढूंढ रही है. सो इसमें हमने जो आइडेंटिफाई किए और एक्सप्लेन भी किया है यूनिट में कि जॉब रोल सोर्सिंग मैनेजर्स का जो होना चाहिए, जैसे आपने सोर्सिंग मैनेजर की बात कही है, इसी तरह अदर जॉब रोल्स भी हैं. या उसमें नॉलेज ऑफ कॉटन, अब नॉलेज ऑफ कॉटन जो है स्पेसिफिक हम को जो जिसने सर्टिफिकेट फैशन डिजाइन किया होगा वही बता पाएगा, या जिसने, क्योंकि हमारा लेवल 4.5 की बात सर्टिफिकेट है, हम डिग्री लेवल पे जा रहे हैं, धीरे धीरे डिप्लोमा लेवल में जा रहे हैं. सो जैसे जैसे 4.5, 5 या 5.56 में जाएंगे तो आपका जॉब रोल बढ़ता चला जाएगा. सो नॉलेज ऑफ कॉटन, आई थिंक यू आर द बेस्ट जज फॉर नॉलेज ऑफ व्हाट आवर एम्प्लॉय. यू आर स्पोर्ट्स एंटरप्रेन्योर और यू आर इंडस्ट्री ओनर, you want to recruit an employee at your respective industry firms, the person the job designation is sourcing manager. So what should be the knowledge?
So sourcing manager, we can say it is the first and the basic job or the career you can start with. Like as a student of design, we get to know about every fiber and the fabric and the cotton. So sourcing manager का जो main job role होता है कि अगर किसी इंडस्ट्री में एज अ सोर्सिंग मैनेजर अपॉइंट है तो किस तरीके के फैब्रिक, किस तरीके की फाइबर हम सोर्स करेंगे, तो उसका मेन उनका रोल प्ले करते हैं. तो दे शुड हैव अ गुड नॉलेज अबाउट द फाइबर कि अगर वो उनको कहा जाए कि आपको कॉटन फैब्रिक लाना है तो कॉटन फैब्रिक की क्या क्या प्रॉपर्टीज़ है, क्या उनकी क्वालिटी है, दैट दे शुड नो अबाउट.
That is specific, not general skills. This is specific skills requirement for this particular job of sourcing manager. We have identified 5 criteria for job role. That is, first is knowledge of cotton, as just now our Dr. Our Dr. Oja explained briefly. And second is checking the quality of the cotton. Checking the quality. How to check the quality? That is also a skill we explain in our with illustrations and with experiment and practical, and how to analyze the market demand and supply.
Yes.
Yeah, when you should have that type of skills and competencies. When you are appointing as a sourcing manager or assistant sourcing manager, we have given sourcing manager is a particular job when you have a degree. When you are going certificate level, then you should be having assistant to sourcing manager. we have mentioned here sourcing manager for that because you have vertical mobility of these particular
Yes.
courses and program. Then you should have a familiarity with the current trends of practice of raw materials. If you are not aware about the knowledge of the raw materials, you are not required for this particular job. And then procurement of the cotton of yarn as per the requirement of fabric. So initially, I think when you go through study, because we have mentioned in our unit also, but latest illustrations you can guess yourself in testing the sourcing of a letter of promoting and yarns, and then as well as you should also acquiring certain year of experiences on a procurement of raw material with good communication ability, because we are giving communication IT skills in every skills component.
Yes.
Problem solving skills, communication IT skills in every job roles. So it is not the only course and programs or career in fashion we are discussing. Every vocational education program this type of skills require, but in this particular certificate in fashion design program we should have these particular specific skills. Now, similarly, you see, next is textile designer. You will be appointed if you have done certificate from IGNOU, and you will be appointed as a assistant textile designer.
Like yeah, some students they confuse between textile designer and the fashion designer. So the job role of a fashion designer and the textile designer is totally different. Fashion designer means the designer who designs the whole thing of the fashion, like they can be a designer of a bag or the accessories related to fashion, or the clothing or the garment also. But the textile designer, it is specifically to the fabric and the textile, the fabrics they design, the weaving, the type of weaves they have to decide. So there is a difference job role of the design fashion designer and the textile designer.
The question is from the learner perspective. Sir, we are doing a program हम कर रहे हैं certificate in fashion design. In all the 4 courses, we have a different skill sets.
Yes.
And for instance, students, those who have registered for BFDI 73, and we have introduction to fashion industry. We have given this fabric knowledge, details and retailing skills
Yes.
and all that. Similarly, our course 2, BFDI 072, that is pattern making.
making.
So specifically, this type of skills, competencies we have given. Our course 4, where we are discussing in detail to the career in unit 14. You see the other block 1, we will discuss in our proceeding discussions. There is the communications, editing and writing. So these are the how to, for instance, we have given an illustration. You are appointed as a communication editor, so fashion communication expert. So how to conduct, we will discuss in detail in that particular job role. अब स्टूडेंट्स कंफ्यूज है सर, हम सोर्सिंग ऑफ फैब्रिक्स में जाएं या कैरियर्स इन फैशन पर्टिकुलरली टेक्सटाइल डिजाइनर में जाएं. सो उनके लिए जो स्पेशलाइज है वो है स्पेसिफिक
Skills.
जो स्किल्स में जो नॉलेज में आप बेटर परफॉर्म करेंगे. In my point of view, as industry also give preference at the time of recruiting employee at your respective enterprises, they give the preference to those employees those have 3 common skills.
Yes.
First is communication IT skills, second is problem solving skills, and third is very important skills for the job role. What we are specific job role you are going to that. If you have these 3 skills, you will be demanding any industry across the globe, not only in India. So that's why this national skill qualification framework come up, and they have given some level of skill attainment in each trainee. But here, the fashion design program, we try to incorporate all our this skill components, and we included our this particular high level skills components in our forthcoming diploma or degree level programs. So a career path of textile designer, and you will be appointed initially as like our sourcing of manager as a assistant textile designer. So coming to the next job role, that is fabric technicians. So very interesting. Those see the designations of this particular job role, that is fabric technicians. What type of job role? You will be able to perform as a liaising between designer and fabric source units. That is skills. Second, testing of fabric strength and color. That is should also very important. If you are not having these type of skills, you will not be required. Then third, you should have knowledge of matching the standards of fabric as per this requirement by the industry and creating new fabric ideas. So last part, what we are discussing, 3 skills. First, we discussed the communication skill, IT skills. Second, we discuss problems solving skills, that is future job skills. What are the future job skills? Not only in this particular fashion design program, in all the vocational skill training programs, the three skills we always discuss across the globe, and all the International Labour Organization, UNESCO, World Bank report, national, our Niti Aayog reports, everybody mentioned these three common skills. So we included all these three skills. The fourth important skills, which also we preferred in India across the globe, as that is innovation skill. So this job role, creating new fabric idea, that is innovation. If you have any ideas of innovations and you have a creativity, because this is the era of coming era is artificial intelligence, which we mentioned, and robot and machine learning, and human brain, when any field of vocational education including this, हमारे जो ये फैशन डिजाइन का प्रोग्राम्स है, इसमें बहुत ही चेंजेस आने वाले हैं. जब तक आपके पास आपकी उस जॉब रोल के स्पेसिफिक स्किल्स एंड कॉम्पिटेंसीज नहीं है, सो आपकी वो जो मार्केट की नीड है, क्योंकि मार्केट नीड ड्रास्टिकली, और दूसरा फैशन है, फैशन का डिजाइन इमीडिएटली चेंज होता है. When we see our celebrities on social network or media, but in the old days there was no social media and all, so whatever parents purchase or buy the goods, clothes, and they child kids were wearing, but today not the case. So what's implication is that जो बच्चे अभी सोशल मीडिया या मोबाइल्स में देखते हैं कि उनके सेलिब्रिटीज ने ये कलर का कपड़ा डाला है या ये डिज़ाइन लिया, इमीडिएटली मार्केट में डिमांड करते हैं, और वो मार्केट में जो इंडस्ट्री को बहुत चैलेंज फेस करना पड़ता है. वो कहते हैं कि भाई हम इस प्रोडक्शन को बनाते हैं और मार्केट में डिमांड है कि नहीं. सो प्रोडक्ट की डिमांड माइंड में रख के और उसको क्रिएटिविटी आइडिया से कि ये यदि सपोज ये मार्केट में अभी यूथ जो इसको बहुत ह्यूज डिमांड में कर रहे हैं, कल को ये नहीं इसकी डिमांड, इसका क्या यूज होगा. सो वो इमीडिएटली जो उसकी डिमांड है वो मार्केट में कम हो जाती है उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट की. फैशन के बारे में बता रहा हूँ मैं. सो फैशन बहुत टेस्ट चेंज होता है. जैसे हम कुछ चीज़ खाते हैं मार्केट में, सो एक चीज़ खाएंगे दूसरी खाएंगे, टेस्ट कम होता है, और उसके बाद जब जैसे क्लॉथ्स में भी और ड्रेसेस में, रेडीमेड गारमेंट्स में भी, वो आज ये कलर का डाला, दूसरा फिर सेलिब्रिटी देखा, अभी हमारे क्रिकेट प्लेयर्स को किसी ने स्टाइल में कोई टी शर्ट देख ली तो उसी की डिमांड हो जाती है, तो किड्स भी वही डालते हैं. तो इन चीज़ों को ध्यान में रख के हमारी जो फैब्रिक की डिजाइनिंग के आइडियाज़ है वो इनोवेटिव होना चाहिए. वो आज की डिमांड तो कंप्लीट करेगी, फ्यूचर की मार्केट की डिमांड को भी पूरा करेगी. तो हमारे जो डिजाइनर्स का रोल वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट बन जाता है इस पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस में. सो इस केस में जैसे अभी एक था मैचिंग ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ द फैब्रिक्स एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट. इसमें आप जो फैब्रिक्स के रिक्वायरमेंट में हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो आपने पहले सेट पैटर्न मेकिंग में भी एक्सप्लेन किया है, थोड़ा उसके बारे में बताइए तो और इंटीग्रेशन हो जाएगा इस पर्टिकुलर क्वालिफायर.
एज आपने अभी बताया कि इट इज़ वेरी अनसर्टेनिटी इन द फैशन इंडस्ट्री. लाइक अभी कोई कलर इम्पॉर्टेंट है, फैशन में है, ट्रेंड में, बट इट इज़ नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट कि 1 month आफ्टर 1 month और 2 month इट विल बी सेम. सो वी हैव टू डिसाइड, वी हैव टू चूज द कलर and the fabric according to the requirement of our customer. सो यहाँ पर एक फैब्रिक टेक्नीशियन के जॉब रोल में ये भी है कि उनको मार्केट स्टडी करना है कि किस तरीके की डिमांड है मार्केट की, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ रिक्वायरमेंट कलर्स और फैब्रिक की है. अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट दे हैव टू check the fabric which has been sourced by the sourcing manager.
That is very important knowledge and skills and competencies to be required our the certification fashion design program students. And people says ki how we are offering this particular program, it is require hands-on practices, and for that we have this next job role, that is pattern maker. So what is the job role of pattern maker, and other also what we discussed the 3 different job roles in our previous discussions. इस पैटर्न मेकर जॉब रोल के लिए भी आपको जो स्किल्स आनी चाहिए वो सबसे पहले यू शुड बी फैमिलियर विद द मर्जिंग टूल्स, कि आपको टूल्स का मेजरमेंट नहीं. ये हमारी आप साइट में जो एक पिक्चर देख रहे हैं, हमारे स्टूडेंट्स ने ऑन द स्पॉट इसको ऑनलाइन हमने प्रैक्टिकल कराया, जो डेमोन्स्ट्रेट किया उसने खुद बनाया ये डिजाइन करके, और उसके साथ जो जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस और रॉ मटेरियल्स उसको चाहिए था वो हमने उसको प्रिस्क्राइब किया, और and they bring their home all practicals raw materials. They perform well in this particular this pattern making, designing, all that. So drawing pattern in given clothes. So अब हमारे पास एक जो हम हर प्रोग्राम में इसके बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं कि स्टूडेंट्स के बहुत ब्रिलियंट आइडिया है. हमारे यूथ जो है वर्ल्ड की लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन है, जैसे कि आज हमारी रिपोर्ट भी बता रही है कि बच्चे के पास बहुत ही क्रिएटिविटी है, उनको एक प्लेटफॉर्म चाहिए, एक मेहनत चाहिए. तो ये फैशन डिजाइन का प्रोग्राम, जैसे अभी हमारे डिस्कशन हुआ कुछ स्टूडेंट्स से जो अभी इस बैच में आए हैं, और कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ने स्कूल में विजिट भी किया, हमने पूछा आप क्या कर रहे हैं, कुछ डॉक्टर वो कहते हैं आई एम डॉक्टर
Yes.
MBBS और MD फ्रॉम मौलाना मेडिकल कॉलेज, एंड शी सेड कि आई एम ए डॉक्टर्स, I took this particular program and course for the fun, and I have a lot of knowledge, interest in this particular programs. So this program is not only for enhancing the employability but also the interdisciplinary, what our new education policy is saying, and our disciplinary courses, and School of Vocational Education and IGNOU as well, and the whole 21 of School of Studies, the first university we are offering already interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary courses programs, and these programs. And the case study which we have done, our this particular doctor students, and she's MD and she registered for our this certificate. One more student also similar. She's already done I think MTech or MSc, and she joined recently this our program, and very interesting stories are there. And they said ki I took this particular program and I'm able to perform this practical component of skill what you advise in our demonstrative classes online. Google Meet we organize, and they performed at their respective. This is the very interesting. So you should have draw pattern of give clause और कटिंग क्लॉज एज पर द डिजाइन. इट्स बेसिक कटिंग एंड टेलरिंग के लिए जो अपना कैरियर देना चाह रहे हैं उनके लिए बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग कोर्स है. और मेंटेनिंग क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स, हाउ टू मेंटेन क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स इज आल्सो very interesting skills which we have covered in this pattern making course. And this course is the only course in our this particular programs where 50% theory and 50% practical component there, because it's require more hands-on experiences which we conducted through our virtual mode. Now, liaising with the government manufacturer, it is also every job role we are discussing liaising, and this is interpersonal communication skills what we are discussing. And this way, this course is required. It's skilled person who are credibility and progression on the basis of the technical skills they learn, and they learn by doing practices, and they learn by our activity books, what we have our expert have written, and what we are doing from our school also, from our Google Meet platform, live classes on practical where students were able to perform this type of activity. If last point is the particular role of the fashion designer. On the whole, what courses are cutting this particular job roles?
Yes.
And on the whole, what will you do after as a fashion designer? So you will be drawing and developing a design. We already explained, and I think our learners have also demonstrated in our practical classes also designing. And you will analyze the needs of the markets. You should have this particular market trend. आज किस product का market का demand है? आज अब old days में हम देखें जो 70s या 80s में और मीडिया और या हमारे फादर डालते थे, वो किस टाइप के डिजाइनिंग के कपड़े डालते थे. आज हम रेडीमेड में जा रहे हैं, वो टेलर मेड डालते थे. सो उसमें भी हम देखें, और फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को देखें, जो बेल बॉटम डालते थे आज टाइट बेल्ट का डाल रहे हैं. सो ये चेंज होता है. तो जो भी फैशन डिजाइनर्स है उसको नॉलेज होनी चाहिए, उसको नॉलेज एंड स्किल्स एंड कॉम्पिटेंसीज होनी चाहिए, उसको एनालिटिकल एबिलिटी होनी चाहिए. दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स, कम्युनिकेशन IT skills, innovation skills, and job specific skills. These four skills we incorporated in our fashion design program. I'm sure you will be familiar with the design and tool for software of the computer aided knowledge what we are discussing. And every field learners or our youth should have knowledge, in-depth knowledge of our hands-on experiences in computers and basic and designing experiences and coordination with design team and all that. I think we have covered all the job roles and careers perspective requirement. And in addition to that, you can interact with us through our email and all that. If you further want to communicate to our students, you are most welcome.
So, as you discussed, some important job roles in the field of fashion design. So, in the more detail, you can study in the unit that is careers in fashion. And then if you have any query, you can contact us, and you can write an email on the cfde@ignou.ac.in. Thank you.